In 2012, Miriam Bale coined the term persona swap to describe a subgenre of films where the reality of women characters are as unstable as their identity. Movies like Daisy's Mulholland Drive and Three Women count among its foundational texts. In 2015, the persona swap played a defining role in several films, where women's merging and dissolving identities are pitted against the backdrop of an unstable reality. It begins with a character who is lost, usually having hit rock bottom. Faced with the need to reconstruct or rebuild herself, the line between a friendship begins to dissolve, or else, an image or ideal is presented to be emulated. In Phoenix, the double is the self. As scarred and damaged from the war, Nellie is shaped by her husband into the woman she once was. He is completely unaware that the woman he is creating and the performance he is directing is starring his wife that he thinks is dead. Nellie crosses a threshold and an unfamiliar situation is breached, as reality becomes more unstable. The persona swap of the character is reflected in the landscape, which becomes dominated by reflective surfaces, doppelgangers, and a fractured sense of self. In Phoenix, the persona swap reflects Germany's fragile sense of identity in the post-war era. Nellie survived the camps, was betrayed by her husband, and is now facing the idea of erasing that trauma by recreating, as closely as possible, her old life. As the line becomes fully blurred, or the transformation achieved, it comes at a price as new identities are tested and old identities disappear. In Phoenix, Nellie's transformation is tested as she is faced with friends and family from her past. She takes up a literal performance as she sings for them, and it is in this moment that her husband and friends realize the truth.
But what is it that attracts Helena to Sigrid?
In Clouds of Sils Maria, Maria Enders, Juliette Binoche's character, swaps personas by swapping roles in a play. When she was a young rising star, she played the headstrong ingenue, but now, in the twilight of her career, she plays the weak and vulnerable older woman. As she rehearses without makeup and her hair sheared, it is as if she is rendered as a blank slate. But she resists the call, lashing out at her doppelgangers and her new identity, as she aggressively instigates arguments with her assistant, played by Kristen Stewart, attacks the artistic integrity of Joanne, played by Chloe Moretz, and struggles to understand the motivations of the older, vulnerable character.
Women's all washed up. I mean your character, right? Not you.
Taking up this new role forces Maria to face the reality of age and the shifting expectations that come with being an older actress.
Haven't I given into every demand you've made? No other company would have given you that kind of responsibility and power.
In The Duke of Burgundy, Evelyn and Cynthia play an elaborate role-playing game, where one body is more comfortable with her role than the other. They are in a sadomasochistic relationship, and set up elaborate scenarios to act out. This puts a strain on their relationship, as Cynthia is not fully committed to her identity as the dom to Evelyn's sub. As reality also begins to crack, the strict artificiality of the central relationship begins to take hold. Strickland does not suggest the role-playing and decorative life of his characters is insincere. The film paints a parallel universe where there are no men, women don't work, and everyone is coupled off in a dom-sub relationship. All the women in this world fulfill the expectations of their roles, and are seemingly interchangeable, but below the surface exists individual wants and desires, as Cynthia questions repeatedly the nature of their expected roles. This is a film where style is substance, as it reveals continually the inner workings and transformations of the characters. As the lives and experiences of women are traditionally regarded as decorative, the Duke of Burgundy questions that narrative by revealing that the performances don't negate individuality. Many other 2015 releases hint at persona swaps. In mainstream films like Mistress America, Queen of Earth, and Carol, which explore the relationship and desires of women, the characters who were once lost are now transformed, and have adopted new identities through the persona swap. These films seek to answer the question of how women assert their sense of self. Persona swap films hit hard at the experience of being a woman. As men are expected to take charge, forge their individuality, women's identity is often regarded as a self-effacing performance. Deeply interlocked with social and gendered expectations for women, it becomes unclear where the true self begins and the performance ends.